And don't worry, it's just recording me, not you. So I want you to just come into a seated or a kneeling position. Just going to start with some nostril breathing because it helps to balance any energy that might be slightly feeling a bit off, especially around this moon. So either seated or kneeling. And you might want to put a pillow under your bum, or if you're comfortable, that's fine. I just want you to take whichever hand feels more natural to you to bring to your head. So for me, I like to bring my left arm up, but some people might be their right arm. And you're going to take your 2 first fingers and place them on the space between your forehead, your eyebrows, and just locate your third eye. And we're going to start by working on the left side of the body. Normally in yoga we work on the right side, but where we're working on balancing that feminine energy tonight, we want to start by slowing that energy down and realigning. So close your right nostril with your ring finger and take a deep breath into your left nostril. And as you exhale, close the right, left, open the right, and just exhale. So we close the right, opening the left. Take a long, slow, deep breath in. And as you're breathing in, see if you can create some more lift in the spine. Closing the left to open the right, and as you're exhaling, just giving yourself permission just to let go of any tension that might have come in from this week or this day. Opening the left, take a deep breath in, and as you're closing the left, open the right and exhale. So 2 more breaths like this, in through the left, exhale through the right, one more time, in through the left, and out through the right. Now keep the right side open, and now we're going to start to harmonise the right breathing in. Close the right side, opening the left, and just exhaling down the left nostril. So again, opening the other side, take a breath in. And then exhaling through the left. Good, open the right, take that breath in, sit up taller. Lift the heart. Close the right, open the left. One more time. Opening that right side, deep breath in. Close the right, open the left, and just let go. Just keep the eyes closed for a moment. I just want you to turn, bring both hands down onto your knees, palms down. Just taking nice deep breaths in through both nostrils now, and creating that strength and lightness in the spine as you're breathing in, lifting the heart. Breathe all the way to your third eye. And as you exhale, just let the energy let go and be reabsorbed down into the earth. One more nice breath in here. And as we exhale, slowly, slowly opening the eyes. And we're just going to come over and start with toe stretch. So really grounding pose to bring our energy down. So just shift your body weight back and just open all your toes out and see if they can connect to the mat. Take your knees wide, and you might want to bring your head down, or you might want to sink back, because what is important here is you're focusing on stretching open those toes. Because under this moon, especially with it being in the season of Cancer, this particular moon is really heavily around our emotions, our feelings. So you might have noticed that you could have been a little bit more sensitive than normal over this last week. Perhaps your emotions have been a little bit higher than normal. But Normally these emotions are our body's way of trying to say to us it's time for a change, a shift. It's an opportunity for breakthroughs. It's an opportunity to listen to your feelings, to make perhaps some decisions that we might not have been wanting to make. It's so important to stay grounded in this moon energy as well. How we find inner balance is how we ground ourselves. And inner balance starts with how at home we feel it in ourselves. And at home could be how happy your environment is. And those of you that know me, I can be particularly messy, for example, and have a lot of clutter around me, and that can make me feel really stressed. So a really simple way to keep yourself grounded is perhaps looking at how you keep your environment. Because the difference to me when I keep it nice and tidy, the difference in my energy makes a massive difference. It's how safe we feel as well. Being grounded can be who you surround yourself with or who you maybe reach out to when you are having these moments of perhaps a little bit of instability. I'm very fortunate I have so many people that not just know me, but they understand my needs and they can just be there to listen. And I'm not scared to reach out to them anymore. So this particular moon is a calling for you to reflect on perhaps who do you go to and who makes you feel at home within you. And sometimes we can't always speak to the people that we need to or we miss. And that's why journaling can be so amazing. Because sometimes the things that we might want to say, you can put pen to paper and express them that way. Just take your one more breath in here. Now really slowly, lifting up and untuck your toes and just sit back just to realign. So we want to rebound and recenter that energy. So put the tops of the feet on the mat, a nice straight spine. And just notice if there's any difference as you're breathing in. Maybe your heart can expand a little bit wider. And as you exhale, just drop the chin down slightly and rest the tongue on the roof of the mouth just to bring a little bit more comfort into your mind. Taking one more breath here. And when we're ready, we're going to come into a seated tree. So lengthening out your right leg. If you've got really tight hamstrings, I'd recommend a little bend in the knee, or maybe you place a pillow underneath and gently press your left foot into your thigh and just surrender over. So take a breath in, try and square your hips and shoulders and just fold over your legs. And we're just bringing our earth element by working in the hamstrings. Also helps open our hips a little bit more. And with this particular moon, it can be a way to look at how to bring more freedom into your life, doing more things that make you feel good, because we recognize what makes us feel bad a lot of the time. But how much do we take a step back and do the things that make us feel good? It's our emotions that get stored in our body that can cause a catalyst of thoughts. And before we know it, we can be thinking about all these things that can then keep us stuck in that emotion. So what this new moon is calling you in to do is really reflect on the things that make you feel good. Is it being around certain people, or perhaps taking more space and time for yourself? Or perhaps you're around lots of people, but you still feel maybe a bit lonely. Sometimes our environment needs to shift because we've outgrown that space. Take a deep breath in and see if you can maybe reach over a little bit more and don't force. You might even find you hold the sole of the foot, perhaps the head comes down. But again, don't force that. It's an opportunity to look at your individual wellness. And this can come anything under your intellect, your physical life, your sociable life, your environmental life, your spiritual life. Perhaps areas that you've even forgotten about, that because a lot of us have great intentions and we want to start new things, and then life happens and we get distracted. Take one more deep breath in and see if you can sink and surrender a little bit more. So how could you maybe consider what might need to shift to increase your state of happiness? Because that's what the sacral chakra is all about. How joyful do you feel? Do you get up in the morning and you're excited for the day ahead? Or are you thinking, I can't wait to get back into bed tonight? Because I've been there. Sometimes you wake up so tired, all you can think about is when you get back home that later. And that's because I'd lost that creativity and that playfulness for a long time. Slowly coming up, just cross that leg in front and just rebound for me. And just take a breath in and just take a couple of deep breaths in through the nose, all the way up through the back of the spine, connecting the root chakra as we're breathing in. See if you can breathe all the way up to the crown of the head. And as you're exhaling, just allow the energy to go down and reharmonize into the earth, and just resettle perhaps any anxious energy that might be floating around in the mind. Taking one more breath in. And as we exhale, we're going to uncross the legs, lengthen the left leg out and press the right foot in. And just make note if any sides feel different, and just fold forward. So if you need to sift something underneath your knee, you can. Just relax the shoulders and drop the chin down. If your bum cheeks get stuck, just move them out of the way. So this new moon helps to reveal the depth and the power within you and your soul. It's an opportunity, if you utilize it right, to take charge of your emotions rather than let your emotions dominate you. So how do you respond to your emotions when they rise up? So sometimes, like my friends know me quite well, I can just wake up feeling very, very anxious, and I don't always know why. But a lot of the times we don't realise, but our dreams can be certain traumas that we're reliving, and even if you don't recall the dreams, that could be affecting your energy. So how do you start your day? Is it you're snoozing the alarm 5 million times and then you're jumping out of bed and you haven't got time for breakfast and you're running out the front door and you forgot? This is like the amount of times I've shut myself out and not had my keys. Or do you set your alarm and it goes off and you're up and out as you knew you should be, for example, because your body's had a good night's sleep because you put yourself to bed at a reasonable time? You know, what is your routine before you go to bed? Because if you're sitting scrolling, for example, on your phone, that blue light from your phone interferes with your sleep cycle as well, your melatonin. And your melatonin is what helps you regulate your sleep pattern. See if you can sink a bit lower. And with the blue light in the phones and the tellies and the laptops, that can really block the melatonin production in your body. And melatonin is what keeps us young. It looks after our minds. It helps with fat loss. It prevents things like Alzheimer's and arthritis. So, and when your body's sleeping at night, that's when it does its most healing. And the blue light can block that. So just take into consideration perhaps what your routine is before bed, because that melatonin needs to be being released at least an hour before bed. So if you're on your phone right up until that last minute, that's not happening. Slowly coming up. Just cross the legs into a rebound, seated position, and just breathe into that space. And as you exhale, relax the shoulders down and back. Good. I'm going to give you a couple of options. You can come into wide fold. So legs are going to open wide and you're going to fold forwards. This is your sacral chakra area, so we're opening that joint and folding forwards. If that's uncomfortable, you can come into seated butterfly and take your knees out to the side and you're going to fold forwards. So depending, especially if you're working on your flexibility, so just seeing where you want to go. If something's majorly uncomfortable, place some pillows under your knees. Relax your feet and just allow your heart to drop. So whether you're in butterfly with your soles of your feet together, your legs out to the side, just bring yourself down and drop the chin down. You might even find you want to rest your elbows down, you can rest your head down, whatever works for you. Maybe you want to put some pillows down in front of you. So your sacral chakra is just above your root. It's responsible for your stability, your physical nourishment. How good do you feel in your body? It's about how much you enjoy your life, whether it's through movement or feeling. And if you've gone through a lot of trauma, so for example, I had a massive trauma a few years ago, the sacral chakra can literally shut off if you're not connected, you'll disconnect from that. Stop feeling your feelings, you'll numb everything out. And that numbness can then lead to not feeling balanced. It can affect everything, all the way through to our menstrual cycles, endometriosis, fibroids. I suffer with PCOS myself, polycystic ovaries. And again, that can be symptoms of trauma or heartbreak. Anything from a loss of a loved one, a loss of a pet, perhaps growing up, things might have been traumatic. It can affect how you express yourself through your sensuality, your sexuality. And classically, there can be a lot of guilt and shame around enjoying things. You know, I feel bad that I'm doing this, I should be doing this for my family, or I feel bad that I'm taking this time out. Down a bit deeper if you can. It can create a lack of joy for life. And like I said, do you wake up in the morning and you can't wait to see what your day brings ahead? Or has it become so repetitive that you just can't wait to get through the day? Sometimes it can cause for that need of oversharing. I can be a classic for that. Or even being needy. I class myself as so independent, but I didn't realise how needy I can be too. I was massively detached from my sacral chakra. Take a deep breath in. And slowly, if your legs are out wide, take your hands under your knees and bring them in. Good. We're going to come over onto our hands and knees. And we're going to stay with the hip area. So if you do have any emotional releases tonight or tomorrow, that's totally normal. And I want you to step your right foot outside your right hand. And then drop the left hip towards the floor. Gently press into the hands, drop the chin down and push the shoulders up towards the sky like a cat-cow. Drop the chin down. And just focus on the area where your underwear would meet your hips. And just breathe into that space, just to create new space. And as you're breathing in, Just see if you can just use your self-inquiry to see if you can get a bit deeper, but don't force. And classically, if your sacral chakra has been blocked, you can struggle to understand your own emotions, let alone even express them. Connection with others can be a challenge too. Life can feel a bit monotonous, and you might feel that you're not free. It can lead to that feeling of being stuck a little bit. So things to sort of help bring your sacral into balance. The top one for sacral is yoga, which always makes me laugh, because yoga can really bring things to the surface. By focusing on breath, it brings you very conscious, and it can really make you suddenly have clarity on what needs to change. If you want to go deeper into this pose, you can bring your opposite elbow down as well, or both elbows. Another fantastic way to reconnect to this energy is anything from painting, singing, dancing, cooking. I worked with a lady recently, and the one thing she realised she missed the most was, she's like, I just don't cook anymore, or it's just whatever I can grab and go and shove in the oven. And what's fantastic when you start to look into the chakras and the elements is you can also eat certain foods based on which colours these are attached to. And you can bring more vitality into your food and into your life by starting to bring a little bit more colour into your food. Taking one more breath here. And as you exhale, slowly come up onto your hands if you're down, and come back onto your knees. And sit back. Just take a couple of breaths in and just notice the hip joint areas you're breathing in. Just see if you're holding any tension in your shoulders or your hands. One more deep inhale, one more deep exhale. And coming back onto all fours, and we're going to step the left foot outside the left hand and drop the hips down. So the colour orange is your sacral chakra. Most of you probably know that. So I'm just going to give you a little challenge for the week. How much orange could you bring into what you're doing? Like, I am obsessed with butternut squash and sweet potato. So for me, I have a lot of orange in my food now. So perhaps next time you're doing the food shop or you're thinking about what to put in, you know, you can even put orange in your salads and things like that, just because we're coming into summer. How much sweetness, because the sacral chakra is all about sweetness as well. Bringing a little bit of sweetness into things can really chase the flavour and the textures. So just taking a couple more breaths in. I think Sharon fruit's one of my favourite orange fruits to have. And other things to look at with the sacral chakra is about how much boundaries you have with yourself and others. And boundaries can come even at work, because sometimes we just like, yeah, I'll do that, yep. But can we actually, do we physically have the energy to do it? Sacral chakra is all about self-reflection as well, and journaling. Maybe you want to come down onto your elbow if you're up. Letting loose and having fun. You know, growing up, I had 3 jobs by the time I was 18. I was so serious. I'd let loose really heavily and then go straight back into this crazy work mode. And where I sort of missed out a lot of my years in my 20s working so much, and my early 30s, I've got a lot of guilt when I do take time back now. But actually, when you look into how we heal ourselves and transform ourselves, going back to being more childlike and having more fun is so important. It helps us develop like fulfilling and meaning relationships as well, like meaningful relationships. Taking one more deep breath in here. And as you exhale, slowly coming up and just coming back onto the knees just to rebound. Just let the muscles come in. Just sit back on the heels, just take a breath in. And I'm going to give you two choices for this next one. For me, I don't like doing this pose, but I know it's so beneficial for me. This is frog pose. So I do the ones that I don't like because I have to get out of that comfort zone. So the knees go super wide and you turn your feet out to the side as wide as you can. Very gently you come down onto your elbows and ever so gently you shift your hips back and you just hold that pose. If this is impossible, I want you to come onto your backs into happy baby pose. And all you're going to do is bend the knees, take hold of the toes or the feet or the shins, pull them in towards your armpits, and then just focus on the area between the groin and just feel the stretch in the hips. So whatever feels more comfortable for you, and send the intention to open that energy, because trapped energy can get really stored around your hips. And the water element, which is linked to the sacral chakra, think of water. If water's free and flowing, there's going to be no blockages. That water will remain pure. And what the whole point of our water system, like our blood system, is to cleanse our body. Like the body removes toxins, the water does that too, whether it's through sweat, urination. The body's, it's so important to remove these toxins. So if you've got blockages, like stagnant water, it can go rotten. And stagnant water, whether it's festering in there, and whether that comes through, and that's why things like fibroids happen, or polycystic ovaries and things like that, that's why it's particularly associated around this area. So not releasing those emotions can then become a physical symptom in the body. Another symptom with the sacral chakra and it not moving through is you don't feel anything, or you don't cry, perhaps. You don't let your emotions come through. And again, by pushing that emotion down, eventually it will start to feel almost like overwhelming, and it can turn into just triggering at things all the time because you're not dealing with letting anything come through. See if you can shift yourself back a little bit more if you're in frog pose, or perhaps open your legs a tiny bit wider if you're in that on your backs. It's an opportunity working with this chakra as well, is how do you change how you react to things? Do you like to get involved in the drama? Can you keep the drama alive? Or do you want to just not engage with it anymore? Because how much energy do we waste on situations that can make us feel like shit? Away, you might have gone and visited someone, but they might not be the right person for you to be spending time with or space with, because you'll come out feeling worse than you went in. They might feel great. How are your boundaries? How much energy are you letting transfer onto you? Because if your cup's already a little bit empty and then you're taking on someone else's, your cup's going to keep getting depleted. That's why it's so important to ground ourselves, like I said at the beginning. So how do you recharge yourself as well? How much water are you drinking a day? And those of you that are interested in how the body works, like a lot of people come to me because they want to, for example, loosen body fat. It's like 28 chemical reactions in water to burn body fat. So if your body's already dehydrated, body's not going to prioritise that at all, I can tell you that now. It's just going to be about coping with whatever you're eating. We're 60 to 70% water as human beings when we're healthy. caffeine dehydrates us. Decaffeinated coffee is just rotten beans, unfortunately. How do you purify your body? Because remember, your brain washes through everything and it needs a lot of water to flow through as well. So if you want to increase your energy, a really simple win is increasing the water and the quality of it. And if you feel thirsty, that's your body's last sign that it's way too late, you're dehydrated. Sip your water, don't guzzle it, because think of yourself like a human plant. You wouldn't dump a load of water on it, it was going to leak out everywhere. Take a breath in. Slowly coming out. And just rebound. And just come onto your backs for me, laying down. Turn your palms up to the side. Just close your eyes. This particular moon as well is based around Chiron, who's known as the wounded healer. But it's a time to activate your energy, and it can help bridge one state of your consciousness to the next. Chiron brings a gentle healing and supportive energy to you, which can really help use around old pain and wounds and allow you to feel your feelings. So like I said, if anything has come up over this moon, don't judge yourself. Inquire. I'll give you an example. I was actually meant to be going to Spain on Friday, and I was getting a lot of anxiety around it, and I couldn't work it out why. And I just kept feeling really out of sorts. And then I realised, I was like, why are you feeling like this? Because I'm going to stay in a place that was the last place that I spent with someone that I really cared about. And I was like, I'm not ready to do this on my own. So those feelings allowed me to recognise and make a decision on something. So I was like, right, for now, I'm not ready to do that this weekend. I'll go when my body and my mind feel ready. And as soon as I made a decision, it was like the biggest weight lifted off my shoulders. So with this particular energy, it will allow you to see things in a new light and even make peace with things. You can see lessons and wisdom rather than being stuck in the pain and sadness. You can embrace them and you can allow yourself to heal. And what's really important, sometimes people don't realise, is sharing these things, because you don't know who that will help hearing what you have to say. Through our pain comes so much growth. And through that growth comes so much wisdom. Self-love, self-nourishment, and feeling at home in yourselves will help you bring into healing and give you so many breakthroughs. It will inspire you to push past your fears and lead with love. So those of you that are staying for the meditation, you can stay on your back, so you can come into seated, whatever works for you, whatever's better, or you can stay laying down. And this is a meditation just to go through to find your authentic self a little bit. So I'm going to be asking you questions in this, and you can go into your mind and you can inquire within yourself. But starting off, we're just going to take a couple of minutes, and all I want you to do is breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. So we're just going to do this for 2 minutes. So we're just going to start to build the oxygen level and the CO2 levels. So nice and comfortable, taking a breath in, exhale gently through the mouth. So just keep going in your own time, just for a couple of minutes. And while you're doing this, just send the energy and the attention to your third eye. Taking soft breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Whatever's comfortable for you. And if your attention starts to flutter away, Just come back to your breath. Breathing in, letting go. See if you can let go of any tension in your fingers, perhaps your eyebrows. I hold a lot of tension in my face and my teeth, so just check you're not clenching your jaw. Maybe put a little smile on your face. So just one more minute, nice breaths in and letting go. And as you're doing this, just start to relax your body. Relax your feet. Let your ankles be heavy. Relax your legs. Relax your hips. Your pelvis. You've got 30 more seconds with that breath, so keep that going like that. So in and out. Perhaps relax your stomach if you're holding any tension there in your lower back. Your hands. Our hands are an extension of our hearts. How often do you tense in your hands? Soften the jaw and your neck. On your next breath in, I just want you to hold that breath. So take a breath in, holding it. Focus on the third eye, the space between the eyebrows. Just hold it until as long as comfortable. And whenever you feel the need to breathe out, you breathe out, and you're just going to go back to normal breath. We're just going to turn your attention inwards, just to help you inquire in your authentic self. And just thinking, what is most important to you in your life right now? What do you value? Just spend the next few moments just thinking about that, whether it's your friends, your family. What is the most important thing to you in your life right now? It may even make you smile when you think of these things. Allow your heart to feel anything that it wants to feel tonight. Just thinking of those values, because they make up that core part of who you are. These core beliefs and your core values will also drive your behaviour. So for example, if a core value to you could be honesty, how truthful are you in your life? Are you being true to yourself and what makes you happy? Or you're perhaps doing what makes everyone else happy? If you value your family, perhaps your life reflects about how much time you actually spend with your family members. Is the time that you spend with them quality time, or just time you just see them and just briefly catch up and go? Just thinking about how could you add some more of these values to make them part of your day-to-day life. So for instance, self-care is something that I really, over the last year, have realised how important it is to me. So I make it a pivotal part of my day to spend at least 5-10 minutes doing some sort of meditation. what is it that you do in your day? And if family is something that's very important to you, how much authentic connection and communication are you having with them, perhaps? Or perhaps even yourself? I want you to consider what else makes you who you are. Because finding your authentic self involves learning who you truly are. Your authentic self is the real you, the person you're truly meant to be. Also, some people refer to it as your higher self. Your authentic self is who you are at the core. The person that you could be if nothing could hold you back, if you could say what you wanted or behave how it aligns with who you are. And I want you to imagine the person you believe yourself to be right now. And it's okay if you aren't already quite sure of who you are. Just picture yourself going about the things you normally do in a typical day. And just imagine that you're watching and observing yourself going about your usual activities. So I want you to see yourself getting up in the morning. Imagine the things that you do on a typical day and just see yourself doing these activities. I want you to just picture this person, you, and stand in an empty room. And just imagine watching this person, observing. Now I want you to strip away all the things that hold you back from your full potential. Any self-doubt dissolving, just being replaced with confidence and self-assurance. And just allow anything that perhaps gets in the way of any success. Maybe circumstances, lack of resources or forgiveness, lack of time, baggage. Anything that is holding this person back, strip it away now. Be that inner warrior. And just see any problems just dissolving, disappearing and fading away. Sometimes we might have a plan and then life happens. You know, it's been a dream of mine to work for myself for many years. And I remember the first time I finally had the confidence to do it, 2 days later my marriage broke down and I had the biggest life shift within 48 hours that I didn't see coming in a million years. And all the things that I'd literally been building up to do, I got totally freaked out, fear came in, and I ran back to my job and I went back into this life and I went back into this pattern. I'm not saying that it was the wrong thing or the right thing to do, but it delayed me 4 or 5 years. But then, for example, last year Corona happened and I could have stayed in that job again and took that option. But it made me also wake up and realise that life's about living right now, and I took a leap of faith because I wasn't actually happy in that job, and that hadn't affected whether it helped me mentally or not. If anything, it probably kept me stuck in certain zones. So just bearing in mind, if you do have a plan, also being compassionate if life does happen sometimes, and needing the confidence to recognise what you want to do rather than letting fear hold us back. Now, when all your barriers are stripped away, looking at this person that you can see, this version of you that has no fears, is fully confident and self-assured, just see that character and just own that person. Allow your heart to feel expanding. Allow yourself to feel proud of yourself. Picture that person becoming clearer. It might be something really simple, like you want to be a little bit more confident. I met a girl yesterday who, very young, no confidence. And it could be really simple, like connecting to a group or thinking, I want to start something new or something that I've been thinking about. How can I be a bit more brave? And then before you know it, you're integrating with different people sometimes. And I want you to think of your motivations. What motivates you and drives who you are and your behaviour? You know, what catches your interest, or perhaps has caught your interest in the past, and what could propel you into action? So just thinking about what motivates you. And it can be hard if you're on your own, for example. Sometimes people are like, oh, I do this for my kids, this is what because sometimes we're not putting ourselves first for everyone else, but sometimes if it's just you, it can be tough as well. What does motivate you? Wanting freedom, wanting abundance in your life, wanting to get up every day and be excited about what life's about? What would motivate you? Having that body, everyone's different, everyone's got different goals, different aspirations. And think about your personality and your character traits. What characteristics are left when all your barriers and your fears have gone away? Who are you at your fullest potential? Are you laid back and calm? Are you energetic? Are you introverted or extroverted, or perhaps a mixture of both? Are you creative? Practical? What do you appreciate? I mean, for me, like just being with the right people and even having just a nice meal together. I'm not one for fancy. I don't care about shoes and handbags or anything like that. How comfortable am I? I love being barefoot. You know, what are you doing for you? What do you admire about yourself? If you could look at yourself right now and say, you know what, I'm really proud of that quality, or I know that's something we've been working on. What brings a smile to your face about something that maybe you've been working on or going through lately, that you could think, you know what, I admire that about you? Because we do it for everyone else. We'll look at everyone else and be like, wow, I wish I was like that person. But if you can step out of this person right now and look back at yourself, what would your friends or your family say about you? Because I'm sure it's a hell of a lot different to what you might say about you initially. I just want you to think about something that makes you feel happy. And what is it? Thinking of that happiness, thinking back to yourself as a child, what did you dream about possibly becoming or having? Was you adventurous, curious? Because like I said, going back to that youthfulness can remind us of the things that we used to really enjoy doing. Sometimes we forget. So for example, when I was younger, I used to always say to my brother I did actually want to farm, and I'd make him sketch out our home and what it would look like, and we had this dream of having all these animals around us, and it's all been forgotten for years until recently. Perhaps you had a dream to be learning something or studying something when you was younger, or you had an interest in something. Go back to that time and just remind yourself of your dreams. create one final picture in your mind. And I want you to imagine in as much detail as you can the person that you want to be, that higher self, that ideal self. Bring them to life. Our visions create our reality. And our imagination is one of the biggest keys to that. How would you behave? What's your authentic self-value? What would you be doing every single day? How would you be living your life? Give yourself that magic wand and give yourself permission to be that person right now. Start aligning. I just want you to feel a nice sense of calm and serenity, just secure in knowing who you are and who you're becoming. And just, you can take this authentic self with you from now onwards. Maybe they shine through in your everyday, in your personality. Perhaps your motivations will start to guide your behaviour and help you make up more of who you want to be. Perhaps you're already on this path and you're like, I'm well there. But sometimes we can also let life backtrack us a little bit, especially with the new moon. Because like I said, emotions can be, and sensitivity can be on the rise. So just take a deep breath in and just wiggle your toes and your fingers. Maybe give yourself a big stretch over your head, wherever you are. You're just going to open your eyes and just feel nice and confident and nice and calm. And grab a pen and paper if you're going to do some journaling. Just going to get some water. And if nothing comes to mind when you're doing the journaling now, you can always write the questions down and come back to them. So with this moon being around the water element, I want you to think about what's currently going on in your space, in your life, in your home, in your environment. So what's sort of ebbing and flowing in your emotions at the moment? What's sort of coming up for you? So for example, is there any emotions around past situations? Perhaps you've got things coming up for summer. So just thinking about what's currently going on with you in your own space, in your own home, and in your environment that you're surrounding yourself in. There might be a mixture of ups and downs, but just note it down and just see what comes out. Perhaps there's lots of new work opportunities, or you've got stuff going on with family. Classically, it's normally a time for lots of celebrations, normally. Perhaps some old emotions have been coming up. So what's going on with you, in yourself, and your environment at the moment? And sometimes it isn't till we write stuff down that it brings this to our attention, like, oh, I didn't even realise that was actually bothering me, or I'm excited about that, or, you know. this moon is all about the water element and the sacral chakra, and that's very linked to self-love as well. What blockages might be stopping you from expressing self-love to yourself? Have you got enough time? Are you making time for you? Is there any shame and guilt around? Because classically I work with a lot of women that are mums as well, and there's this almost guilt and shame of taking time out to not be a mum and not be a partner perhaps, and making time for you as an individual. So what blockages perhaps stop you from expressing your self-love? Perhaps you're in a relationship where you can't express yourself properly, or you're people pleasing for everyone else, so you're not making that time for you. Perhaps you need to be working more and more hours because you feel that you need to bring more income in, but you're not balancing out that energy. So what perhaps blocks you? Maybe it's confidence. So with a new moon, it can bring to our attention what we need to work on in our shadow. So what shadow work might need to be done so you can honour your emotions? So with shadow work, it can be looking at what's causing you to trigger. So for example, I used to have a lot of anger and a lot of rage. So I started doing more meditation and things to start calming my mind down. How can you honour your emotions? So if you perhaps get overwhelmed, you might cry a lot. What could you do to start bringing those into balance and bringing more harmony into these areas? What are you not doing for yourself? Because if we block, for example, traumas out as well and don't deal with them and keep repressing them down and down and down, that's when we get energetically stuck. Something really simple like doing some artwork can take you out of that mindset to allow you to relax, and before you know it, things might pop into your head and give you a different perspective on something. So being honest with yourself, what work do you need to do to honour your emotions? Perhaps you need to journal more. Maybe get some books on looking at what you need as an individual. I think collectively a lot of us are going back to reading and writing more. Or are we distracting ourselves on Instagram and the phone and Facebook and ignoring our emotions? Because it's so easy to do. So with this moon, what could you give yourself permission to wash away with the tide? What could you let go of that perhaps you don't want to hold on to anymore? So for example, I was particularly reliving a situation over and over and over again, and I was putting a lot of blame on myself for things. However, at the time, that's how I reacted, and I didn't recognise that I was overwhelmed and I didn't know what I wanted, so instead I acted out in a way that I didn't like, but I've spent a long time punishing myself for that. So what could you give yourself permission to wash away with the tides? I'm not saying forget about things, but what could you give yourself forgiveness for? I said, this moon is about being grounded and also being at home in yourself. So what changes may you need to make at home to be more comfortable in your home? I love my crystals, so one thing I need to do is get them back out and cleanse them and clear my space with them a little bit, for example. Perhaps you need a jig around with things, or you need a really good sort out of what you've got and what you don't need anymore. So what could you do in your own home to be more comfortable in it? It could be something really simple, like, do you know what, I really fancy a new pair of pyjamas just to treat myself and just to feel, do you know, this, you know, I love buying new socks. I've just got to think about it and I haven't done that for ages. So what could you do to be a bit more at home in yourself? When was the last time you had a bath? When was the last time you made something that you've picked out and go, do you know what, I'm going to make that, I'm going to get the ingredients and I'm going to do that for myself? Like I said, this moon as well is a lot to do with how we show our sensitivity. Being vulnerable as well can really help shift a lot for us. So just thinking, perhaps, in what relationships do you need to be maybe a little bit more sensitive to? Where could you show a bit more sensitivity towards someone else, perhaps? Rather than thinking, oh, they did that because of this, or you'll talk to them a certain way, because it's also about how you spend your energy as well. So for example, me and my brother can clash really badly, but I need to be more sensitive to his situation and how he is living and his choices he makes, so that I can work on our relationship, because I love my brother and we trigger each other a lot. So that's something that I'm working on, being more sensitive towards how he feels so that we can balance our relationship. Because a lot of times we're thinking about how they've affected us and how we feel about that, but we're not always thinking about what they're going through. To write down, just to finish on the journaling, 3 to 7 wishes, okay? I'm going to give you literally an opportunity here to write down 3 to 7 of your wishes, and it can be something really, really simple, like, I wish that I am outdoors in nature at least 3 or 4 times a week. So what, you know, it could be about money. What 3 to 7 wishes that you could bring to yourself right now, because they say that 80% of us that write it down is more likely to manifest and come true. And you know what's really cool is when you get to read it back a year or 2 later, you're like, oh my God, all my wishes happened, because that's the nuts when that happens. And if you can't think of 3 or 7 or whatever you want, you can do more than 7 if you want, you can always do this another time. They could be things that you need, or you desire, or you want. Bring it to life. It could be meeting someone, it could be starting a new career. Being more confident in yourself, like, you know, wish for yourself as well, that's important. Don't just go external. Easy to do. Like, Roxy, I bought us both a matching mug today, so we've got a camper van mug. So I'm wishing, every time I'm drinking out this tea now, I'm manifesting my camper van, because I'm wishing to go travelling around the UK soon. So bring those wishes to life. So just thinking about, what would you wish to happen for you or your family? It could be a wish for someone else. You know, like one of my best friends, she's really unsettled at the moment, and I do so much wishing for her, because she's one of the most beautiful souls I've ever met in my life, and the amount of stuff that girl has gone through is beyond me, bless her. So I always wish that she gets everything that she dreams of too. It's a powerful thing to do, to wish for someone else as well. And now, looking at all of the wishes that you wrote down, I hope there's more than one. I want you to pick the one that you have the most pressing desire to have right now. And I want you to read it out loud. And when you're doing this, I want you to envision in your mind, whether your eyes are open or closed, or the feeling that it will give you, like this wish has come true and you're living it right now. And once you've said it out loud, I want you to say thank you, thank you, thank you. So 3 thank yous afterwards, and just sit in that energy and embody that wish. Feel it, embody it, like it's happened, like it's happening. How would your heart feel? How would your mind feel? How would your body feel? And when we finish today, I'd recommend that you cut that wish out and put it somewhere you can see it every single day, or write it on a nice piece of paper. And you're going to have that in front of you every single day. If that's your deepest desire right now, you're going to put that somewhere. You can put it if you don't want someone to see it, you can put it in a book and you can sleep on it and have it near you. Just holding that energy. I'm just going to read a few things out loud for you, just to bring that into your body. If you want to repeat them out loud as well, that's absolutely fine. I'm connected with the divine source. I'm divinely protected and divinely guided. I take full responsibility for the life that I am creating. I am fully open to receive, and I let go of all resistance. I welcome transformation into my life. And I embrace the changes as they come. I clearly see the path laid before me. I walk my path with love, grace, strength, courage, and truth within my heart. Take a deep breath in. Gently bring your hands onto your heart. Namaste, my lovelies. Hope you're feeling alright. Anything you missed, obviously drop me a message. Anything else that pops into your brain, journal on it. Okay, there's going to be more stuff coming in. Anything that comes up, any weird dreams, let me know. I love hearing about a dream. But have a wonderful evening. The new moon is actually fully tomorrow, so you can do this again on catch up as well if you want. I'm going to pop it onto YouTube. And any feedback, if you want to give me or anything like that, is deeply appreciated, because this is all like a new learning venture for me as well. But thank you for your time. Any questions, I'll stay on here for a few minutes afterwards as well. And Yeah, thank you for your energy. Enjoy the new moon. Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for... Good.
No, it was lovely. I feel very relaxed now.
Oh, good.
Thank you so much. My mum and I've done this together. It's been
Oh,
really,
it's
really welcome.
lovely.
And
Oh,
may
thank
your wishes.
Listen, I got a whole little book. I write it down, like literally, I rewrite it at least every 2 weeks. And that's what's good about the moon, is you can reflect back and you'll see it. And what's cool is when you look back in a year's time, you're like, whoa. Honestly, I'm like, and it might not be like the first year, sometimes it's the second year, and I'm like, I wrote that down. I've got proof of black and white here.
What is it about the moon that's so precious? You talk about the new moon, I guess a new part of your life is starting. But what is it about the moon? Is it not in the fullness that
Say that again, darling.
everything? Yeah, I'm just trying to work out, because my mother always used to tell me, oh, you know, with the full moon, you cut your hair, it'll grow, and all of this thing.
Right,
But I'm wondering, when you've got the... Sorry, go ahead. You know more about it than I do. I just want to understand a bit more about the full moon, or the moon growing, or a new moon.
Yeah, so the new moon